We got a little segment here of What Your Palate. We're going to be talking about what this next episode has on it. And it's actually a very exciting one. We got an awesome guest with us. We've got Raeed Hosny. He has a story like no other, going from being an actor in Egypt where he grew up to becoming going into hospitality in New York, and then becoming somebody very important in the intelligence world as we went into Iraq. Helping bridge the gap and keep peace. And really a pleasure to have you on the show today and tell your stories.
I was a child star when I was starting acting when I was 6 years old. And this is something new. I was nominated to the equivalent of the Oscar when I was 14.
Wow.
I was nominated. I didn't get it, but I was nominated to it on my role of one of the TV movies I was involved in. I lived in different cultures, in different countries. I lived in big cities like Cairo, London, New York.
You've been shot at many times. You got to see some action.
Raeed, we are truly encouraged by your presence here and inspired. And your story of perseverance is... like I said, it really just adds light.
Thank you very much, guys. And guys, every place have the good, the bad, and the ugly. Don't ever judge the book by its address.
Very true. They're words of wisdom, words to live by. Anybody that is wanting to know about the perspective of Raeed here, and it's a beautiful story, watch and listen to Go With Your Palate. You're going to love this episode. I guarantee it.
Technology, as we were here, just getting ready for this Zoom.
It's always fun, yeah.
And like I was saying, like the more you know, the more you don't know. But like, what were you saying about the antenna thing?
If I were to point to an antenna, like an old school antenna, and ask my kids, like, you know what that is, they would absolutely have no idea. They would think it's like a cell booster or something like that. They would just like see this thing that looks like a metal kite frame up on the ceiling or up on the roof, and no idea.
And I was saying that I miss the days when we could just like hit things and they start working.
Yeah, you got to blow on your Nintendo game. Yeah,
so you're in Colombia right now, right?
Yes.
Raeed?
How long have you lived there?
I go in and out. I'm very fortunate. I spend sometimes here. I spend sometimes in New York. And sometimes in Egypt, right by the Red Sea.
Wow. All right. That sounds nice.
They call it the Life of Riley, but I kind of paid my dues for that.
Yeah, I bet. I can't wait to get into that. And so you were born in Egypt, but you're now an American. You've been an American citizen for decades.
Since 1982, January 27.
Okay. And do you have dual citizenship?
Yes, I do, but I also live in Colombia because my wonderful wife is from Cali, Colombia.
Oh,
and
okay.
We kind of mingle here very well.
Yeah, so you got a thing for the Latin ladies. Hey, it's all right. I get it.
That one.
I get
it. Yes, I do.
So do you have to, being a dual citizen, do you have to live in a certain area for a certain period of time, or are you free to go to any of those countries as much as you want?
Okay. During the time when I worked for the intelligence, I was restricted to certain things due to the fact that the conflict of interest. So I was restricted to certain areas where I can travel and cannot.
Oh, that's interesting. Wait, that was determined by the U.S. government or by just
Correct.
the intelligence? Okay, that's wild.
Yeah, I mean, we should probably get into this right now.
I think we've already said enough. Listeners are like, who are you talking to? Okay, so now it's a welcome to Go With Your Palate. We got another great episode coming up. We got a special guest. We've got Raeed Hosny. He has a huge story. I don't even know if I want to get into it, but like on my own, because I think it's going to be better from the horse's mouth. We got child actor from Egypt turned intelligence agent through a number of altercations in the Middle East, and now living with his beautiful Latin wife in Colombia. I mean, this sounds like a bunch of different stories all mixed into one. This is going to be a lot of fun to hear about. So, of course, you got me, the host, and my co-host, Chris Fat Mario Rubio. I'm Joe Wagner, and welcome to the show. So we're excited to get in. Thanks for taking the time.
My pleasure.
Yeah, so I think we could just for our audience that may not know who you are or whatever, we always like to give kind of like a snapshot of where you're at now, which I think we did get. You're in Colombia, living a life, but I feel like you've lived many lives, I think, as we go through it. So maybe we could just start with your origin story and start from the beginning of where everything all started.
I was born in Cairo, 1956, to a middle-class family. My father used to work for the Ministry of Culture. My mother was a school headmaster. She was one of the education pioneers in Egypt. At the age of 4, a TV was introduced to Egypt. We got one. And each time I watch something on television, I would recognize the conversation and the dialogues, and I will go in front of the mirror and I will replay it. My father noticed that, and he said, "This guy's either crazy or he has a good talent." So he introduced me to the children's shows in television and in radio. And one of the times I was thinking, and the camera took a good shot of me. One of the directors liked it. He came to me, he says, "Would you like to act?" And I said, "I would love to." And I played the main role with, at the time, she was #1 actress in Egypt. And I did very well with her. And when we finished recording the TV movie, she said, "Now you do not accept just any role. You acted with me, and you need to like the role before you play it." My father guided me through my childhood time. I played in many TV movies after that. And I became a child star till I went to college, to the Egyptian Academy of the Arts, and I graduated from the High Institute of Theater Art in 1977 in specializing in acting and directing.
So, Raeed, when you first started getting into acting, your dad saw this talent, your parents saw this talent, and put some effort into developing it. How old were you when you got your first part?
6.
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Yeah. And so you continued on moving up the ladder, so to speak, in acting. Went to college for it, and maybe we should go back a little bit because I'm curious. I think a lot of people that listen to this podcast don't know kind of the evolution of Egypt. It obviously has a very long history, but even from the 60s, 70s, when you were growing up to now, being that you go back to Cairo on a regular basis, what are the cultural differences that you've seen shift there?
Now it's more open. Like at the time when I was growing up, when I was a teenager, you can't go out with a girl and call her a girlfriend or something like that. I even resorted to something very silly. You talk about crazy, colorful life. When I was in college, in order for me to be able to go out with a girl, I have to go and get engaged to her. So I was always carrying an engagement ring in my pocket. Go get engaged so I can go out.
How many times did you get engaged, Raeed?
14.
No
And-
shit.
Oh, what?
No way.
Dude, that's like a world record. It's gotta be, right?
That was all it took. Was
Maybe,
it took the ring to be able to go out? Did you have to get the
Because
parents' permission?
it's a no to walk out with a girl and hold the hands in the street and stuff like that. So I said, well,
You were gaming the system early on, man.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
like they say, when there is a will, there is a way.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, so
Did you only have one ring on you, or did you ever have like two, just in case? You never know if
No.
did you
Being
ever
a
get
Muslim,
did you ever
I
get the
can have 4
question?
wives.
Yeah.
Did you ever get the question, like a woman being kind of jealous, saying, how many other girls have you used this ring on?
Well, I usually played it safe, so I'd stay with one story till the other one start popping up. So I will kind of before I started a crescendo with one, I kind of fade out the other one. So.
Got it. Moving
it.
from lily pad to lily pad.
Yeah.
That's
Hey, you're young. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you got to experience things.
You're experiencing
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
That's crazy.
So okay, so it was back in your younger, like your young life as an actor. Was it more of like a golden age for TV in Egypt when you were acting, or is it more popular
Well,
now?
aside from Egypt being the cradle of civilization, we are also the source of culture for all the Arab countries and the Middle East in general, because we have. The best movies, the best artwork, the best actors, the best singers. I mean, we've been and we were established very early on from the 60s and even before the 60s. All the movies that you will see in any other Arab countries back in these days will be made in Egypt. So Egypt was the source. It's like the Hollywood of the Middle East.
Okay.
So that was our role, and we Egypt at that time was kind of the leader and art in general, movies, theater, culture, and all that.
Okay, and during this time, were you already a fluent English speaker, or did you learn that in grade school?
No, no, I after I finished college, I had my goal was to go to travel to England, master degrees from there, from the Royal Academy of the Arts. I went. I worked hard for 1 year in hotels in order to save the money to join the Royal Academy of the Arts. And after I saved the £2,500, which was the tuition at the time, to start my master degrees, during that first year I studied English in an English school in London. I studied 4 hours, worked 12 hours, and it was crazy, but I was able to save the £2,500. No girls, no nothing, no going out, no discos, and
Discipline, dude.
I really was tied up with that because it was my goal and I wanted to do it. When I went to the admission office, they told me, "Oh, I'm sorry, we raised the tuition to £4,000." So, and the answer to your question, I learned my English in London.
Okay.
I had a Scottish teacher, yeah.
And so you never went to the Royal Academy of the Arts?
No.
No, well, okay, because this is, I think, this is a perfect segue. Because so you ended up getting into intelligence somehow. Like, bridge the gap between England and getting into intelligence.
In England, well, since I'm an actor, each job I did in my life, there's too many of them in too many different fields, I consider myself I'm playing the role. So I like to play the role the best way I know how. So I for example, in hotels, Started out as a porter in a hotel on Bayswater Road in London, and it was the Lancaster Gate Hotel. And I became the night manager at the same hotel within 6 months' time. And my career took off from there. So I got into hotels, and I traveled after that. I went to the United States on December of 1982, and I lived in New York since then. Worked in hotels, worked in real estate, worked in different many things, and each time I would play the character. And when do you want me to tell you how did I get into intelligence after that? What pushed
Yeah.
me and
Go
stuff
ahead
like
and
that?
keep on going because I love how you're tying in your acting skills and your history into each one of the roles that led up to the culmination of your life. So this is exactly what we want to hear. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Keep on going.
Okay. And in 2003, the United States went to Iraq, and I was watching CNN constantly and hearing about the weapons of mass destruction and the atrocity of Saddam Hussein and the terrorist and the this and the that. And unfortunately, I noticed the tone that almost when we call somebody Muslim is a terrorist. Like when somebody is Colombian, or you are a cartel, you are a cocaine dealer and stuff like that. It's a common mistake that kind of develop into people's mind as an impression of somebody from certain ethnicity or from a certain color or place.
Yeah.
But I needed to do something to try to correct that the best way I can. A friend of mine mentioned to me that they wanting people to help them out to help the United States Army out in Iraq with their talent of translating. I'm fluent in Arabic; it's my native tongue, and with my English I could help the United States, and I can also prove to some of my friends who at one point mentioned to me like, oh, you're not, when I was trying to say voice my opinion in the war and what's happening, they would say, oh, you're not even an American. And that kind of hurt me. And what do I need to prove that I'm American? So okay, let me pay the ultimate price for myself, for to witness history firsthand, to make sure that my daughter will be proud of me as an American, and she will grow up with the name Hosni, and be proud of it, not to shy from it or be looked at differently. Anyway, I and I wanted to do something real because I always leaned towards cushion jobs that did not have any, you know, any seriousness to it, too much. And I applied for a job with a company that was contracted with the Department of Defense. And I went through the process, which is very tough, by the way, but because you go through physical, you go through health wise, you go through, and then they put you on hold for 2 3 months while they start check your background data and check the places that you went to and travel to and stuff like that in order to, because they provide you first with secret clearance, and then it will be on hold for a while, and then from there, if they continue investigation and if you are proved to be okay, they will promote you to the top secret after you pass a polygraph test. So I passed
Wow.
all that stuff, and thank God I did, because I really wanted to go. When I went to Iraq the first time in 2004, in July of 2004, I left on my birthday, which is July 2nd. I arrived there in Qatar for overnight. First, we went to Frankfurt, and then from Frankfurt to Qatar, and then from Qatar was the first military airplane I jumped on, was a C-4. And we flew from Qatar to Iraq. I didn't know what to expect. I was watching things like a movie. And there I was chosen to work with Army intelligence at the 10th Mountain, the 2nd Brigade of the 10th Mountain, with the intelligence unit over there. I was under the command of, at the time, he was a Colonel Mark Milley.
Oh.
And I start with Army intelligence, did duties like I would listen to taped conversation on the phone. I would translate articles. I would listen to conversations and translate it and pass it on. I would join in the interrogation of detainees in both the brigade facility and the division facility. I will work on sourcing and on getting sources to provide us with information. Like I will go to the compensation office, or I will go to places where there is gathering of Iraqis, and I will try to mingle with them and see who we can benefit from as far as information that will lead to weapons cache. And weapons cache was important because there was a decision taken by Rumsfeld at the time to dismantle the police and the military of Iraq. When you dismantle those people, the oldest people, and you give them 1 month's servant's pay, you're making enemies. A lot of them. So and for us to know where the weapons cache is, where they stored, and all the army and the police personnel know that. So they turn on you after a while. Like, we had a very good welcome when we entered in 2003, and then they turned it on us because we kind of did not deliver what we want fast enough. We did not deliver the improvement and of living and stuff like that fast enough. And we didn't actually, and that's another role I played, they didn't actually understand the tribal structure of the Iraqi social life.
When you say that, you mean the tribal structure of the Iraqi social life? Is there also an underlying tribal structure within the Muslim religion, Islamic religion?
Exactly, because the Muslim religion have Shiites and Sunnis, and the Shiites comes from the Persian, actually, who is Iran, represented in Iran, and large population of Iraq, about 70% of them were Shiite, but the rest of the population were divided between Sunnis, between Kurd, between Sabi'a, between many other religions are involved there, and it's all tribal, and each tribe has its own laws, has its own traditions, and that has to be understood in order to be able to deal with them.
And you had a good understanding of each one of these different segments of the religion that you could help kind of guide through in a social setting, find out who maybe the people that are going to be of help that want to get Iraq back on track. I mean, that's what you were doing. I mean, that sounds pretty risky. You're walking around socially. Or did people know that you were aligned with the American military?
Of course.
Okay.
But I was not people within the camp. I meet people within the camp. I do not go outside, because when I go outside, I have to be with at least 16 soldiers.
Oh, geez.
Yeah. But when we do that, we will do that with, if we go out on patrol in areas that we have information something wrong might happen there and stuff like that. And each time we go out, of course, we are subject to be blown up with an IED, especially with what was known at the time the airport road, which was known as the death road. And because of the number of IEDs that were planted on that road.
So, I mean, when we're looking at this war, and yeah, please correct me if I'm wrong, but while you're going out, you're in cities. You have civilians around. You're kind of searching for these caches, or you're looking for the target. I would imagine that it's much different than being in, say, a war where it's the jungle, right? Compared to something like Vietnam. Did you go through training with kind of using all your senses to seeking out danger? Was there any techniques that you go through as like while you're walking in that area that helped you kind of seeking out your targets, staying safe, or is it, I don't know if it's just relying on instinct or whatnot?
Well, I relied on one fact that I believe in. You have no choice of when and where we are born, and we have no choice of when and where we die. So believing in the fact that when I die is not in my hand, and it can happen anywhere, and believing in what I was doing, my knowledge from the culture about the culture, and like I said, I like to, if I'm going to play the role, I like to try to be the best in it. So I read a lot about the different cultures, about the different religions in Iraq. I heard a lot about the different dialects, and I would ask all the time the Iraqi civilians that were coming to our to the camp to work there or to sell stuff there or establish a store there. I would talk to them, and if I don't understand anything of the dialect, I would make sure that I ask about it and understand it. That helped me a lot also during the interrogation, because I can tell, and the agents used to really request me, because I would not just translate what the person is saying, but I will translate what the person means by what he's saying, because I had the ability to foresee or to see through the person the level of education he had, the place where he grew up, whether he's telling the truth or not telling the truth. That's also beside the fact that we learned a lot and studied a lot about the body language, and we can take it from the body language. And then no matter how much you depend on technology with the lie detector test, you still have to have your own intuition. Is this person can be of a high value to me, to give me better information, and how do I get through to him? Each one of the guys that we worked with had one thing that we can go to, whether it's money, whether it's whiskey, whether it's whatever.
Everybody's got a motivator, right? Yeah, everybody has something.
Everybody.
So was one of your goals in the interrogations, was to find that motivator for each person that could be an asset?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the in the beginning we do that.
That's the beginning.
Then we make a plan. I make a plan. We make a plan with the. I sit with the agent and we make a plan of how we going to go through it. And
is that why they offer cigarettes at first? Just to see?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
That's what,
you want them to be but then you can get a glimpse from the first impression of the person. If the person comes in and he's sitting like this and stuff like that, he's not gonna tell you nothing. I'm not gonna tell you nothing. That's the body language of I'm not gonna. You can't get anything out of me. So you have to first relax, man.
Yeah, have a cigarette, have some
We'll talk.
whiskey. Yeah,
some
yeah,
whiskey,
yeah.
want some coffee, tea,
We want to get
whatever.
those arms unfolded, right? Yeah. Was there also techniques used? I mean, so I don't know too much about it, but I mean, if it was holding someone's wrist to kind of gauge their heartbeat, like if there was an elevation, or if it was like which direction their eyes are going when they answer a question.
Exactly.
Okay.
which directions were the eyes is going is a tell if he's going to tell you the truth or if he's going to lie to you. Like if he raises his up to the left, he's thinking, he's taking a time to think or if he's what kind of lie he's going to say to you.
Ah,
So what happened was my between the agent and myself, we will take turns of watching the face impression while the other person is doing the asking. Like while he's asking in English, I will be looking at him, and while I'm listening to him of the question, and then I will translate the question. And while I'm translating the question, he will take the turn of watching the eye movement. We used to play it that
ah.
way.
Wow. How long? What's in the interrogation side of your world? How long was your average, and then how long was your longest interrogation?
It depends on the value of the detainee because, and like I said, there was two different facilities in the camp. There was the BIF, which is BIF, abbreviation of the Brigade Intelligence Facility, and there was the DEF, which is the Division Intelligence Facility, the Division Interrogation Facility. I'm sorry. And in the DEF, you have a higher ranking detainees, like more valuable
Yeah.
detainees. And it will take like it depends who's if he was rounded up after an explosion or if he was involved and got arrested in a location where they were firing mortars at us or it depends on the place and the situation that he was in and on how he is if he is helping us or if he is just being a hard head and but at no point I had to just to keep things strict sometimes like I remember I recall an occasion where one of the agents she was a female and she started to tell the detainee oh, we're gonna do this to you. You're gonna be here for a very long time. Your wife is going to be out by herself. She can't bring food to the children, so she's gonna be a whore. And I'm like, wait.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I don't translate that, and this is not the right way to interrogate someone. I'm
There
sorry.
you're not
Of course, I
motivating them.
didn't say that to him. I said, "Can I need a coffee break?" And then we go outside the room, and then I told her, "You can't do that." Oh, I want to do it. I said, "No, let's go to the team leader, and we make sure that this is the right way because this is not. I'm not going to translate that anyway."
Mm.
You're not going to get that out of
Yeah.
me. It's not the appropriate way to do things.
So you
And
took a more
so,
you took a more subtle approach to it, trying to be more
Yeah.
collaborative. No waterboarding,
exactly.
nothing like that.
It was very difficult because I was in a position where, okay, you are a Muslim, but you're helping the United States. So,
Mm.
and it was sometimes it's damn if you do, damn if you don't. And it's a catch 22. You have to be convincing and politically correct in dealing with that. And I tried my best.
Yeah, so I did want to ask you about that because I would imagine that being Muslim, even in New York post 9/11, I'm sure you got criticized or got some bad looks. All the while, you wanted to prove that you were an American, you were an upstanding citizen, and all that, right? That you had a drive to be and make better America better. But then you go over to Iraq, and and now you get the other side of it, where you've got Muslims there going, "Why the hell are you siding with America? They're the infidels." So was if you looked at the population, what percentage of that population was really looking for a betterment of Iraq and also more of a collaboration between America and Iraq?
To be frankly honest, everybody was looking for a better Iraq.
Okay.
Uh, but what happened with us is they end up cutting the electricity, the power for like 16 hours a day, and the water will go in for only 2 hours or 3 hours a day, running water and stuff like that. So the services we could not provide the way it was before, or we could not better it due to the fact that you were in a war zone. You don't know who is going to fire at you, when and where. The being prejudiced at is or being or feeling that there is some sort of prejudice towards myself during that time was very clear in many occasions, in a few occasions, but I was able to overcome it, thank God.
What was the driver that helped you overcome that? Because that's a lot of contention on both sides, and you're risking a lot in my mind, just from a kind of a personal standpoint. So what was that big driver? What was the motivator that just said in the back of your head, this is why I'm going to do it, regardless of having some Americans dislike me, some Iraqis dislike me?
Exactly. When I improve the facilities and when I improve the conditions for the detainees, I feel good. And I feel good when I lecture the new coming groups about all they know is in the army. All you know is aim, shoot, kill.
Yeah.
And they have the understanding that they are coming to Iraq is the enemy, and the Iraq is what did 9/11, is what caused 9/11, and this and that. So I had to explain to them that this is not right, this is not true. Not all the Muslims are terrorists. I am a Muslim and I am on your side. That doesn't mean that I'm a terrorist. I'm helping you out to understand the culture here. And I go through things like you have to take your shoes off if you're going to walk into a mosque. If you have to do this, you have to do that. If there's a place where there's women, you cannot crash into it like that. You have to wait till the women are covered and they are out of the way. And the man, you have to talk to the man of the house. You don't treat the women bad. You don't touch them. You don't do this. All that stuff, all that. What gave me the drive to continue, that I am doing something good by finding a weapons cache, or by finding a high value wanted terrorist, I am saving lives. That's because these rockets were going to be fired at us. So if I go and discover in the place of these rockets, I am minimizing the damage that could happen to us. That's what gave me the drive to continue, that I'm doing something good, and finding bad people is a good thing.
And I mean, and risking life and risking the kind of comforts of people accepting you was worth that betterment of society. And speaking of risk, I got to ask, what was the riskiest situation you ever found yourself in?
Is this really the end? Unbelievable. Find out next week.